good Tuesday morning to Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Welcome to Special Report, the morning edition, sponsored by KC Securities. Thank you very much, Daniel, and the team over at KC. Speaking of KC, they gave us a tip earlier today.
Yes,
what was going on there, Colette?
Well, Carl, thank you, Carl. This morning, when I pulled in, he told me that St. Paul's School had a fire at about 5 o'clock this morning. So we are following that story. There are not many details at the moment. All we know right now is that firefighters battled a blaze near the northeast corner of the elementary school, and as more details become available, Sue Online will have it posted to the website, and we will certainly talk about it in the afternoon show. I don't know, there's nobody there. It's 5 a.m., so it sounds rather suspicious to me. What do you think? Kids really don't want to go back to school in September?
Yeah, I would say probably electrical fire if I was to guess. That's usually how these ones usually start. So
I hope that's all.
There's nothing else going on in the building, so it's not like someone was having a campfire or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, not that you would have a campfire normally in a school building, but I mean on the property that could, catch the school on fire.
Yeah.
Kind of like there's a fire ban, right? Like don't catch trees on fire, also don't catch schools on fire.
I'm laughing because I'm not over how you went. I was about to say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh in your face, although we do that often at Chris here, but I was about to say,
part of my charm.
Good morning, Sault Ste. Marie, and you did it at the same time, so when I cannot wait to see the playback on that, I was like, big, like this. I must have looked absolutely ridiculous. Okay, Chris attended the city council, but we had some issues, so we're going to talk about that later in the show.
Yeah, and we have a magic
Just because
number.
we promised our viewers that we would do that.
We did promise that. Unfortunately, there was some issues with city council last night, but we do have a magic number called 16.315 billion, and that's called announcements last week to help municipalities. And so we'll discuss how council somehow thinks that they have not received any announcements.
Okay, all right. Well, we are looking.
But we won't know either because they couldn't figure out how to stream a Zoom meeting on Facebook. Or sorry, on YouTube.
Oh right, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
There's a build up to that.
I did find a different video stream that we're going to show instead, though.
Okay. Awesome. How was your Monday night? Other than
sitting in front of a computer screen for 2 hours with nothing happening?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I need to know how Dani's night was. How's it going over there, Dani?
It's going good. I got out last night, did some gardening, did some fun stuff. My corn stalks are finally starting to grow. Aww. So with that being said, we are going to jump into weather right now. So currently we are sitting at 15 degrees. That is going to climb up though. It's going to be 27 today, but it's going to feel like 34. Yes. So there is a humidity and a heat warning in effect right now. We have 72% humidity going into the afternoon. Colette, I know you're super excited about that.
Love it.
And then heading on into the evening, it's going to cool down to 21 today. For Wednesday morning, it's going to feel like 20, but it's also going to feel like 22. It's always the mix between, and it is going to rain in the morning. Come the afternoon, it's going to be cloudy with a chance of showers, and it's going to feel like 31, and then in the evening, it's going to climb down to 18, but there are going to be a few showers overnight, so we've kind of avoided that thunderstorm that we were talking about yesterday. Heading into Thursday morning, it's going to be 8 degrees. It's going to feel like 4 with that light rain in the afternoon, and as well in the afternoon it's going to be 12. Heading into the evening it's going to go down to 7, and it's going to be a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day on Thursday. So again, that's Wednesday and Thursday. You get a little bit of that mix of sun and clouds, but Thursday evening it's going to cool down a little bit more. So hope you can enjoy the nice humidity today. Colette, back to the desk.
Oh, I absolutely will be doing that as soon as 2 o'clock comes around. I'm gonzo and under that heat. Now Dani has some post-secondary or college sports information that we'll get back to later on in the show that's pretty important. But let's talk a little bit about Ford's announcement yesterday. As a Saturday, I can get my nails did. What else can we do? Haircuts are a go.
Yeah, you can get your haircuts, you go to beauty, hair salons, barbershops, tattoo parlors.
Good.
Shopping malls will be open under very strict conditions. Food courts will be takeout only.
That's right.
Outdoor tour guides can start doing their stuff again. Like if you go for a mountain bike tour guide or walking and boat tours and things like that. Also, you can go to wineries, breweries, distilleries for those sorts of tours as well. as long as it's socially distanced. More beaches will be open, as well as additional camping for Ontario parks.
And we raised it from 5 to 10 people in
Yes,
a,
we
excuse
can now
me, in a
have
gathering.
10 people at a gathering, outdoor splash pads and pools as well can be open.
Oh, really? I didn't know the pools would be
And
open.
things like drive-in theaters can open as well.
Now, they did this by region, which is
Yes,
great.
and we are
I
in
was
one
all-
of the regions.
I was all for that. I know
yeah.
that we had that conversation on the show a few times. There is that concern that people will be traveling through the regions, and this could
Yes.
increase our chances. But just practice social
That
distancing.
is
I want you-
a big concern,
It
is
is.
that people are going to be like, and we've had this discussion before, like you can't go to a hair salon in Toronto, but you could go up to Vaughan and go to a hair salon there, for example. And there's nothing to stop someone going from an area that's closed
Toronto to
down.
Vaughan is not many kilometers
Yeah, you don't even
away.
know when you, not even really know, like you drive 30 minutes, you can go get your hair done, and then you drive back to Toronto. How do you stop something like that? And so that's an issue. For us, it's not as big an issue because no one's going to drive from Sudbury to come here to get their hair done.
I don't know, it'd be pretty damn good hairdresser.
It must be
You
a
never-
good
you
hairstylist if you're going to
never
drive 3 hours. But if you're in Toronto, you can go to some of the, like where my parents live, it's the Simcoe Muskoka
Yeah.
Health Unit, and it's open, which means you could go up to Barrie, Wasaga Beach, up into Muskoka, which is all the cottage country.
A lot of people travel.
Everything will be open up there, but the same exact thing in Toronto's closed. So it's going to be one of those things where it might work opening regionally.
I guess there's only one way to find out.
We'll
Chris.
find out what will
The
happen.
thing
but-
is, people need to get back to their lives. I mean,
Yes.
right? So
And-
they're rolling it
yeah.
out, and that's understandable.
Yeah, and the outbreak is mainly in long-term care homes right now. You know, over 80% of the cases are in long-term care homes, and
Yeah.
they're all locked down basically. And we've taken over the ones that are not been managed well.
That's right. The military has been in
and so
there. That's right.
even
There's
some of
about
those
8.
private homes, and actually I deal with that on my show last night, which was on Facebook video this morning, it'll be on YouTube later today. And I actually argued that long-term care homes, there should be no for-profit companies in them. And I give out reasons that it's bad for both the companies, it's also bad for the residents as well.
Awesome. That sounds interesting. Okay, moving on with the news. Ford is also expecting to reopen plans for childcare centers. So obviously, with people who get ordering back to work, we
Yep.
need daycare centers now. I could have used that in March myself, but we won't go there, right, Chris?
Particularly for females, because if you look at the numbers that came out this week, the 290,000 new jobs, 208,000 of them went to men and the rest went to women. And one of the issues there is childcare.
Absolutely,
So,
right? Trudeau, he's going to promise, we touched on this a little bit yesterday, but with all the police issues going on in the news right now,
Yes.
Trudeau wants to put body cameras on every police officer. I mean, that's a huge extra line in their budget.
And technically, he only controls the RCMP.
Right, but the RCMP, this was already discussed way back when, and it wasn't feasible. It was too expensive.
Yeah.
There's 700 and some odd units or whatever or 700 RCMPs that had dealt with this before. I can't remember the year that they did that offhand.
They did like a pilot
They
project?
did, and they just couldn't back the idea up and spend the money on
Well,
it.
I mean, the technical aspect of recording every single second, just to store the video. I mean, just think about, you know, how much video goes
Right.
onto your phone and how
Who's
little
gonna go
video
through
you
all that
actually
video too?
that you
Right.
actually use, right?
In downtown Toronto, I know they did a pilot project around that as well a few years back. But we have some more information coming to you from yours truly over here about the
I got a lot of paper.
He's got a lot of paperwork fanned out over there. I've got some more local news stories I'd like to share, and Danny's got some OCAA updates. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Welcome back. Thank you to Casey Security for your sponsorship. Dani heard my stomach grumbling from, what would you say the distance is between Dani and I here?
A good 20 feet.
Yeah, I'm starving. Anyway, what's going on in Facebook?
Yeah, hi to my girlfriend who's watching.
Hi, girlfriend.
Yeah, and also, so that's basically it for Facebook this morning.
Just your girlfriend?
Just my girlfriend,
today?
yeah. I've got a bunch of shares too and stuff. But
Okay, good.
yeah, so if you have a birthday wish or you want to say hi to anyone, just let us know. You can do it in the Facebook video, in the chat. It's the only place we actually watch during the show, so if you want to interact with us live when we're on the air, you can do it through there. You can also post comments on YouTube and stuff afterwards, but we don't see those comments until after the show.
Just comments about Chris. Just, negative
so just
ones.
pause.
Colette, negative Chris.
Mandy, well, good morning, Mandy.
Thank you,
Mandy. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that.
Also, it's my best friend Allison's birthday today.
Happy birthday,
Allison.
Allison.
Happy birthday to Allison.
Yes, and then, speaking
go
of
ahead.
fun stuff. Okay, last night was City Council meeting. Yesterday afternoon, for those of you who watched the afternoon show, I talked about how ridiculous
you
some of
didn't
the
just
wording.
talk. You didn't.
Yeah, I did more than talk. I ranted about how ridiculous City Council meeting was going to be last night, and conveniently, if we could get that photo up, they had Zoom difficulties and couldn't figure out how to work Zoom. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Okay.
So, the City Council, the way it works is it's a Zoom meeting and then they stream it live through YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I decided to see if I could find any other Zoom meetings streamed live through YouTube. And conveniently, there was 4 monkeys and they were having their own meeting. I'm not sure if it was a City Council meeting or not, but these 4 chimps figured out how to do a Zoom meeting
Chimps are
and then stream it
smart.
live on YouTube, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yet somehow our City Council can't figure that one out.
Look at them.
Yeah, they're having fun. I mean, trust me, that's much more exciting than City Council meetings. And I don't even know what they're saying. I mean, you got one licking the camera, the other one scratching his ass. Yeah.
Chimps are intelligent.
One is really too close to the screen there. You really see
the other one's not even paying attention.
Yeah, the other one's
I
just
just
like,
want to go for lunch.
I don't care. I'm not paying attention to this anymore.
Yeah, this sucks.
Okay, so since City Council only just posted it this morning, it'll be interesting. I'll be able to watch it today. The good old 1 hour and 55 minutes of fun that will be. Okay, so here's the magic number I mentioned earlier. 16.315 billion. Now, Colette, would you care to guess what 16.315 billion represents?
Money funded toward municipalities from other levels of government?
Just last week. Just from June 1st. Yes.
Okay.
16.315 billion. Okay, let's go through and look at this.
Ask me another one.
Okay. Tell me how you can waste $40,000 on Huron Street.
Oh, I know this.
Danielle, go for it.
Before me.
You get a sign that says you're in Canada.
Yes, right after you go through Canadian Border Services. If you haven't figured out you're in Canada at that point, the biggest problem is not a sign telling you that. How about we spend $40,000 on potholes?
Listen, we need a tiebreaker here. We're tied. We need another question.
Okay. We'll do building permit fees.
Oh.
Okay.
God damn.
Do we need to study a reduction of 25% in local building permit fees, or would we be able to possibly figure out what that number would be based on previous years of building fees?
Previous years on building fees.
Yes. Yes, there you go, you got it.
What did I win?
Perfect.
What did I win? What
So
did I
that is the waiving building permit fees of up to 25%.
Okay.
Easiest way to figure that out is just look at the last 3 years, take 25% off each year, figure out if you can still operate. That's what
Makes
this is
sense
supposed to
to
be
me,
figuring
Chris.
out. Okay. Okay, moving along. Broadband infrastructure.
Oh, I love this topic.
Internet access for the North.
Yes.
Now,
It's a
they
great-
are wanting to ask both the provincial and federal governments to prioritize an immediate investment in broadband infrastructure to ensure that all people and communities within Sault Ste. Marine will have access to affordable, dependable, and quality internet. Yes,
As they
I
should.
should work at like one of those auction houses.
Yes, you should.
Okay, so they're asking because apparently there is no money that's ever been allocated for that, according to their now there it be resolved issue. $115 million announced last week for Northern Internet. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, moving along. Next.
You know it took them quite a while to write that resolution.
Oh,
It does
it did,
not.
yeah.
To get the proper
Yeah.
wording at a government.
And then financial assistance for municipalities. Okay. Whereas, despite repeated requests from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and an Association of Municipalities of Ontario, to date, there have been
AMO.
no announcements regarding relief funding to cope with municipal budget deficits created by the pandemic. $2.2 billion in infrastructure released early by the Trudeau government. Guess who gets that money? The municipalities to build roads.
This is all, by the way, these are all great announcements that were made last week.
Yeah, and they
Not-
literally all happened last week. Like this happened since June the 1st. $14 billion to provinces, territories, and municipalities to pay for core services, including transit and other core services that they need funding for.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
so good. We're doing well here, City Council. Okay, and then they want to talk about, they want to go for provincial and federal governments to extend emergency funding to municipalities to mitigate the financial impact. Okay, $16.315 billion was announced last week. $16.2 billion of it was to help municipalities through this difficult time. Well, we're going to a break. We'll be right back, and I will hopefully be calmed down
Catch
at
your
that
breath,
point.
brother. We'll be
Yes,
right back.
I need some breathing time. Woo!
Melly, did you know that the Bush Plain Heritage Center is celebrating 30 years this year?
Wow, great for them. Did you know that if you're at the Bush Plain Museum, that you're only 12 minutes and 7 seconds away from Maitland Ford Lincoln?
Really? Maitland Ford, it's closer than you think.
A message from the Government of Canada.
In your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room. Create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
Welcome back. Thank you, Casey Security, for your sponsorship. We had to give Chris a couple pats on the back there just to catch his breath, but he did well.
I'm breathing again.
And we feel that we're going to put him up to be an auctioneer. Who wants to buy him? He's only $5. He's only $5. Anyway, Dani, what can you update us on OCAA sports, please?
Well, it is a very sad day for college and university sports. As of yesterday, the OCAA and OUA have canceled all of their outdoor sports, but only for the fall semester, and that's including championships. So sports such as baseball, softball, rugby sevens, outdoor soccer, golf, and cross country, they're all done for the season. It's been completely canceled, and it's really unfortunate for some of those students who specifically come to certain colleges and universities to do sports. I mean, Sioux College, they just got the golf program back, and unfortunately they completely had to cancel again. So hopefully those recruits coming in can find something else to do, or it's very unfortunate to hear that, but back to the desk.
Thanks, Dani. Yeah, that is upsetting. I mean, being a varsity athlete myself in soccer, I couldn't imagine my years of post-secondary without having athletics involved. So I really feel for them. I think that's awful. Yeah, it sucks. That sucks completely. And a lot of people pick schools because of their sports teams as well.
But they got to do what's best, and they have to do everything to keep their athletes safe. And it's like, how do you have a cross-country meet when everyone's running together? I mean, you just can't do it.
Actually, that brings up a good point, Dani. You wrote a great article. Oh, there's scholarships as well, yeah. Mm-hmm. You wrote an article about a local student, or I'm not too sure if she just came out of high school, I believe, and she was going to go away to Southern Ontario for school, but has decided to stay in Algoma for the year, to go to Algoma
It's
University.
fortunate. I've been talking to a few students, and they've had to completely change the whole entire post-secondary career path, and just it really sucks when they have their hopes of going away, being a part of residence, and all of a sudden it's like, no, we have to do a complete 360. And some students didn't want to stay here, but at least they're looking to the positive side of things.
Yes. Well, let's just hope it works out. And I don't know.
Think of all the athletic scholarships, particularly in America.
Yeah.
NCAA sports is huge.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I wonder what well, who knows? They're probably running all their leagues.
They're probably all just licking each other in the football locker room right now.
Okay, cut it out. Now, listen,
it's America, let's face it. There's nothing going wrong there. Everything's fine.
Everything's good.
Yeah,
everything's
social
fine.
gatherings up to 1 million.
Okay, cut it out. Listen, you were supposed to print this with bigger font, because now I have to put my glasses on in front of everyone. So, come on, I thought you were on my side.
I am.
We're baby boomers, remember?
I didn't know you could change the font size in text.
Yes, you can.
You can? Wow.
Yes. Oh my gosh, rookie.
I'll change that after the break.
Thank you. Okay, so what we want to talk about is, what do we want to talk about? Masks. Who used to work for this company, Leger and Association.
Full disclosure, yes.
Yes, full disclosure it is. So Canadians are increasingly wearing protective face masks as they emerge from months of isolating at home to curb the spread. 51% of respondents to the association survey said they wore masks to the grocery shopping, but all these numbers are up right now.
I was going to say that number was down at like 41% just a week ago.
45% they've worn masks to go to the pharmacy, 17% at work, 14% on public transit, and 12% going for walks. I'm actually surprised that the public transit number is only at 14%. I'll be honest with you, but
yeah. That seems a bit low to me.
Yeah, and 53% of people said that masks should be mandatory in public and confined spaces. So it's an interesting survey.
Yeah, those numbers are up though, because they do this poll about once every 7 to 10 days, and the last time it was below 50%.
Was it?
Yeah, that's the first time it's actually been above 50%, which is good because people are at least taking it seriously.
Yeah, do you wear a mask when you go out?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
it depends on where I'm going. If I'm going for a walk in a park, no.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Or I see people wearing it in their vehicles.
If I'm outdoors in a park, I don't. Like when I go for my walk, I don't wear a mask.
Hey, to each his own. In this day and age with everything going on, you want to wear a mask 24/7, go at it. But I make sure my little guy wears a mask when he's in public, although I don't take him out too often. Okay, let's talk about Toronto Police Chief to resign.
Yes.
Mark Saunders, whose contract was set to expire in about 8 months, told a news conference last night that he would leave his job on July 31st. He said after decades of serving in the force, he wants to spend more time with his family. The surprise announcement comes amid growing anti-racism protests, as you know, Chris, over George Floyd. He's a veteran officer. He's definitely a veteran officer, and Bill Blair was his predecessor, who is now the Minister.
Yeah, he's a Liberal
Federal Public Safety Minister. Yeah. So he's had big shoes to fill. He's done a great job for the city of Toronto. Being from there, that is not an easy job to do.
No.
And right now, we're tackling a lot of issues. And as you said, new committees might be
I
starting,
think
new
that he's probably
initiatives.
going to be chairing some sort of a committee of some kind dealing with racism in the police force.
Yeah.
And also, if another police chief comes in, they'll have the time to actually make the reforms. He doesn't in 8 months, so good on him for looking out for the best for the citizens of Toronto.
Awesome. Okay, well, we have a hashtag in this together coming up after this commercial break. We'll be right back after this message.
Even though we can't always meet in person, we can still listen.
Even though schools are closed, help is still available in your community.
Even though you may be worried, services and supports are still here.
In stressful times like these, families need mental health support more than ever.
We are here to make sure you can stay connected to your community and culture.
Nous savons qu'il peut être difficile de rester à la maison, mais vous n'êtes pas seul.
And we know asking for help for yourself and others can be hard.
But there are people in your community who are ready to support you.
No matter your age, gender, sexual identity, race, or culture.
No matter the day, time, or issue.
We're here to help.
And welcome back. We got another Facebook Good Morning from BA Linden, which is...
My mommy and daddy.
Yeah, her
Good
parents
morning,
are watching.
Mom and Dad. Told you those two people from Hamilton are watching.
I know. We're building quite the audience in Hamilton. But over to Dani. Speaking of other cities, she's so far away. She's in another city.
I am. I'm so far away. I'm all the way in Sudbury, but actually this interview...
Ooh, good segue, Dani.
I know, right? This interview coming up did take place, well, not me in Sudbury, but the individual who I did speak with is Ryan Land from Science North. He is the Director of Education in Northern Programs, and what's going on at Science North is they completely closed their doors, but now they're offering science at home virtually. So enjoy this little snippet of the interview, and it'll be posted to our website afterwards.
So basically, this is an opportunity for students who are at home, not students, but the children at home, to continue to learn about the wonderful world of silence from the comfort of their homes. It really is 1 hour a day of facilitated content with a Science North Blue Coat. It offers enrichment activities, such as a Rube Goldberg, which is sort of an obstacle course building kind of an activity. Kids might get to build a catapult or a hovercraft. They might write messages with invisible ink. And then most importantly, I think for the parents that responded to our survey about these camps, is that they have the chance to get away from the screen and explore nature in their backyard as citizen scientists. So it's a way to break up the day in a fun, engaging, and importantly, safe way.
Oh, well, that's great to hear that the kids aren't going to be so tuned into this. And that was Ryan Land from Science North, and it's going to be very interesting to see how many different individuals they get for this virtual science at home. And even when speaking with them yesterday, the kids aren't going to be glued to the screen the whole entire time. They're going to be doing activities at home. And Colette, you had a little bit of a story about Dante.
Oh, yeah. I actually definitely think I'm going to follow up on that for him. That is awesome. So... He had Snapchat, okay, and his name is...
Snapchat?
Yeah, he's D-Money Dizzle, well, we know, and that's his handle. And he has his own YouTube channel, and he's doing a lot of branding around that. He actually wants to get his own logo and some t-shirts made up, and I'm not kidding. This was a conversation we had 2 days ago. So yesterday, I was leaving work, and I had a snap from D-Money Dizzle, and it's... He took a screenshot of a Global News report, which he later got in trouble for not watching his mumsy instead of Global News.
Wow.
But
I hope he got grounded for that one.
And it was all about the rioting and not wearing face masks and being too close together. And his caption is like, I shouldn't say, look at these morons. Why aren't they social distancing? This means I'm never going to be able to go play with my friends. So I just feel like you kids are, anyway, so he later went out in the evening and I'm on his iPad like doing those.
I'm surprised he said that he didn't want to go back to school.
Dante?
Yeah.
He loves school. He
Well, that's
would
what I
love
mean.
to. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
surprised he didn't say school.
No.
That's his thing.
He loves school,
it.
but he loves playing. So I went on his iPad later that night. I thought I better check to see what else he's looking at. But he's all good. He's not looking up anything bad. So that's my Dante story. We're going to get him into that Science North. That's a great idea for the kids this summer.
Yes.
We do know that summer camps will be opening, but better to have some science in your life too.
Yes.
We hope you have an awesome Tuesday. I almost said
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday afternoon. We'll see you at 1 o'clock.